Elizabeth Cady Stanton and Gloria Steinem were both important feminists who fought for women's rights. Stanton was part of the women's rights movement in the 19th century, while Steinem was part of the feminist movement. Both women wrote articles and speeches to convey their ideas to the public. Stanton was also the head of a successful organization which helped women gain many rights. Steinem published a magazine specifically for women and founded many organizations to help fight for civil liberties and to support women in general. Stanton and Steinem's speeches and articles influenced the way people treated women and convinced people to join the fight for women's rights.
Elizabeth Cady Stanton was one of the less spoken yet radical women's rights activists of the 19th century. She was a visionary from the start and met her husband, Henry Stanton, at a slaves' rights convention. She first became aware of the injustices towards women when she went to a convention with her husband, and the men and women were separated. At that same convention, she met Lucretia Mott, the woman who she would eventually hold the first women's rights convention with in Seneca Falls. At that convention, they discussed giving women the right to vote and other main rights that men had, but women didn't. She also authored the Declaration of Rights and Sentiments and wrote many speeches for Susan B. Anthony to deliver. Stanton headed the National American Women's Suffrage Association for several years, as well as its predecessors. She completed her book, The Woman's Bible, which advocated for women's rights in society and in the church. One passage in her book stated, "The first account dignifies woman as an important factor in the creation, equal in power and glory with man. The second makes her a mere afterthought, the world being in good running order without her, the only reason for her advert being the solitude of man." She noted how women were pushed aside, although in the beginning they were created the same as men. Stanton did all she could to make sure that women would be able to vote and have rights to their bodies, minds, and property.
The work that Elizabeth Cady Stanton and many other activists of the suffrage movement accomplished allowed 20th century activists such as Gloria Steinem to be so successful. Steinem was one of the main reformers of the feminist movement. She wanted women to have more rights, to be treated fairly in a male-dominant workforce, and she hoped women would have more choices regarding abortion. She felt that women deserved to have many opportunities and options, that they didn't always have to be housewives displayed like trophies. She even went so far as to say, "A pedestal is as much a prison as any small confined space." In the 1960s, Steinem used her position as a columnist writing for the New York Magazine to write pieces with a strong feminist voice. She would also speak publicly to try and enlighten people on why women should get more rights. She started many foundations to help women. For example, she founded the National Women's Political Caucus, the Women's Action Alliance, and the Coalition of Labor Union Women. Although these organizations did help many people, two of her most important accomplishments were the publication of Ms. Magazine and the founding of Ms. Foundation. The magazine was able to empower women of all classes to fight for their rights, and the foundation helped them to do so. Steinem's goal was not only to fight for women's rights, but also to give women the tools to do so themselves.
Both Stanton and Steinem changed women's rights in history and in the present. Both inspired women to stand up and fight for the rights they had been denied. Elizabeth Cady Stanton wanted women to be able to attend the same meetings as men, vote, and voice their opinions. Gloria Steinem wanted men and women to share equal rights and wanted women to give other women tools to fight for more rights. Both believed women should have rights to their bodies, minds, and opinions. Steinem and Stanton were women with extreme ideas that were willing to push the boundaries of political and social walls.